something strange just brushed past Mars. At 400 a.m. UTC on October 3rd, the interstellar visitor 3I/ATLAS made its closest flyby to any planet, just 29 million kilometers from the red planet. For months, astronomers prepared. But no one expected the show that followed. All eyes on Mars shifted to the skies. Orbiters like MRO, Mars Express, MAV, and the Trace Gas Orbiter tuned their instruments. Rovers on the surface, Perseverance, Curiosity, even InSight, shifted to listening mode, watching the atmosphere, scanning for anything odd. Humanity had never been closer to catching an interstellar object in motion. At first, 3I/ATLAS looked ordinary, a faint emerald glow, a halo of dust, a long tail pointing sunward. But then the unexpected began. The comet brightened, slowly at first, then surged. Its coma bloomed so fiercely that instruments had to recalibrate midstream. Jets erupted from under its crust, not with water vapor, but in massive bursts of carbon dioxide and cyanogen, molecules rarely seen in such volume. Spectrographs lit with signatures scientists had only theorized. It felt less like a comet passing Mars and more like a visitor announcing itself. Then came the auroras. Mars, even with its thin atmosphere and patchy magnetic fields, rarely hosts them. But around the time of the flyby, instruments detected ultraviolet glows dancing across the night side. More intense than solar events alone should produce. The source? Traced back to the comet's passage. It was as if 3I/ATLAS grazed Mars's outer shell and left it humming. And then, fragmentation began. Shards peeled off the comet's nucleus. High orbiters watched them drift, but not in straight lines. They twisted and curled in spirals, patterns no typical breakup ever produced. Some scientists called it spiral shedding. Others whispered guided drift. The more speculative muttered the word nearly sacred among astronomers, intelligent. Moments later, the Trace Gas Orbiter registered a sudden spike of methane in Mars's upper atmosphere. Methane on Mars has always been enigmatic, appearing and disappearing without pattern. This time, the surge was sharp, unmistakable, timed perfectly with the comet's passing. Had 3I/ATLAS seeded Mars with exotic ices or awakened subterranean reservoirs? But the real shock came next, a signal. Buried in static, a faint hum pulsed every 22 seconds. At first, NASA engineers dismissed it as noise. Then, ESA's instruments on Mars Express detected the same rhythm independently. 2 spacecraft, 2 vantage points, the same beat. For nearly an hour, it echoed across mission logs, too patterned to be random, too weak to be a standard transmission. The official explanation leaned on plasma physics, maybe resonance between a comet's charged tail and Mars's fragile magnetic vestiges. But inside mission control, whispers stirred. What if natural wasn't enough? Back on Earth, amateur astronomers played their part. In long exposures, 3I/ATLAS glowed a richer emerald green, its brightness nearly doubling after the Mars encounter. Usually that glow comes from diatomic carbon molecules excited by sunlight. But here, something more intense was fueling it, as though the comet had absorbed something from the flyby and was now burning hotter, becoming stranger. Speculation exploded. Could the comet carry interstellar organic compounds and inject them into Mars's atmosphere? Were its spiral fragments the signature of an internal magnetic field, something comets should not possess? And the boldest theory, those rhythmic pulses, the strange debris, the methane spike, were these not signs of design? Were we watching a probe dressed as a dusty comet? The public statements from NASA and ESA spoke of unusual chemistry, outgassing events, and novel plasma interactions. But behind closed doors, researchers argued, was 3I/A/TLAS natural or something else? On Mars, the machines recorded it all. Perseverance's sky cameras logged the comet's eerie glow overhead. Curiosity's particle sensors caught microbursts of charged particles. Even InSight's seismometer, mostly dormant, recorded electromagnetic noise traced back to the flyby. It was as though every instrument felt the visitor pass. Now we wait. 3I/ATLAS continues inward, bound for perihelion on October 29th. If it already acts strangely at Mars, what will happen in the heart of the solar system? Will it fragment spectacularly, scattering alien dust across solar winds? Or will it hold intact, growing even brighter as it speeds toward Earth's orbital path in December? One scenario, it breaks apart harmlessly, leaving only data and dust. Another, fragments linger in the inner system, crossing orbits with Mars, maybe even Earth, years later. And the most unsettling idea, the comet's behavior is intentional. Pulses, spiral debris, methane, every anomaly could be a signature of intelligence. If so, 3I/ATLAS is no mere visitor, it is a probe. And the Mars flyby was its first demonstration. Picture being on Mars that night, the sky painted emerald by comet glow, auroras shimmering where they shouldn't, fragments spiraling overhead like strange satellites, pulses rippling invisibly through the thin air. For rovers, orbiters, and human eyes watching from Earth, it was like witnessing a secret message unfold in the stars for a fleeting heartbeat. Today, every major observatory on Earth is locked on. The James Webb waits for a clear sliver of visibility post-solar conjunction. Radio arrays listen for odd emissions. Citizen scientists contribute exposures, logging brightness spikes in real time. The global scientific community is mobilized as never before. This isn't just another interstellar visitor, it's different. Borisov behaved like a natural comet. Oumuamua was silent and mysterious, slipping away too fast to fully study. But 3I/ATLAS? It brightens when it shouldn't. Fragments and spirals, it hums to Mars, it leaves methane trace, it glows emerald. It feels less like an object and more like a story unfolding. The coming weeks will decide this story's shape. If 3I/ATLAS survives perihelion, its next chapter might sweep dangerously near Earth's orbit. If it doesn't, fragments will scatter through the inner solar system, each carrying the same alien chemistry, the same puzzles, the same questions. But one thing is certain, Mars is marked forever. Auroras where none should appear, methane where none should spike, pulses where silence should be. When history recalls October 3rd, 2025, we may not remember it merely as a comet flyby. We might call it the night we realized that interstellar visitors don't always arrive quietly, that sometimes they brush against a planet and leave far more questions than answers. That sometimes the universe knocks, not loud, but rhythmic, and listens. If 3I/ATLAS is more than it seems, last night was not an ending. It was the first act. The stage is set, and the only question left is, are we audience or participants? Stay tuned. The performance has just begun.